Everybody, it's Stryker and Klein inside our brand new HD radio sound space.
How about that band Coldplay, huh? I have a feeling, kids, that band is going to make it.
We sat down with them just before the performance, and this is what went down. Check it out. Welcome to our grand opening of our new venue here at KROQ. It's the HD Radio Sound Space. We are Stryker and Klein, your afternoon team, and here to break in the new venue. Coldplay is here. Will and Chris, guys, thank you for being here. Wow.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a real treat and a pleasure.
Thank you for having us. Thank you, Will.
And anytime you open a new space, we'll open it for you.
I'm convinced that it was 2011 the last time you guys did this, and I think the only reason they even knocked down the last one was to force you to come back and do this again. So thank you for being here.
We refuse to play in a building anyone else has ever played in.
Yeah.
We only will play new buildings.
When you are playing to people that will be 2 feet from you, do you get nerves these days for something like this? Will?
I think so. I think the thing that I always think about in a live show, when we play in one of our concerts, you get a lot of chances. If you make a mistake, you get a lot of chances to kind of make up for it. Whereas on radio and television, those things are committed to kind of, you know, they're indelibly etched on people's memories because they'll be watching it over and over again. So I do get more nervous radio and TV than I do in our live shows, for sure.
Wow. And then this very intimate venue. I'm curious about your first shows in LA. Do you remember them? Where were they, and what the heck were they like?
Our first show in LA in America was for KROQ in what is now Hogwarts at the Universal
Amphitheater, the Gibson Amphitheater.
Yeah, and of course this was before Harry Potter had sold so many albums.
Right.
And demanded his own ride. And was the almost acoustic Christmas.
Right.
And we had no idea about anything at all. But we got told, listen, this radio station that's really important has been playing your song, so it's time to go to America. And it was just, it's been a miracle since then.
The kids still call it the Coldplay ride there.
Yeah, a lot of them, yeah.
So your first show in the States was not at the Roxy with 8 people or the Troupe. It was the Almost Acoustic Christmas.
With 8 people.
And no. I remember that performance. I was standing there, and people knew the lyrics to the songs. Do you remember that?
I don't know. This was, at that time it was like new metal was really getting big.
Yeah.
So we were just sounding particularly, and our first album was very quiet. And so I just remember thinking, God, we don't stand a chance.
I do remember Weezer played on that show, though.
Did they?
Which, it's one of my favourite bands, so that was extremely exciting.
Yeah, it was cool. It was the first time we'd been on a revolving stage. It was, I mean, the whole thing was new to us.
Were there bands that were really cool to you guys on the way up that you still have a relationship with now when you were, you know, opening for them many, many years ago?
Well, we only really opened for we opened for Muse on a tour before our first album came out, and they were very sweet to us. And we're from the same area in Britain, and so we have nothing but love for them.
Yeah.
And then we opened once for U2.
Oh.
And that was a big deal. That was at the end of our first album, and we just did one show, and
they were very kind to us.
You know, we've been very blessed with our elders and peers that they're very kind.
Will, early on, were there goals for the band? Was it get to the United States? Was it just to play to enough people to make a living? What were the goals?
Well, I think we had a very clear set of goals. We knew exactly what we wanted to do. We had a list on the wall. The first goal was to get a drummer, and so I was fortunately that list was made before I joined, and so I was glad to be able to strike that one off.
I wrote that list, and you were the first tick.
Thanks, man.
On any of our lists.
Oh. There's been a lot of firsts. So then it was to get played on the radio, and then to get a record deal, and all of that was, we were so lucky that it all happened, you know, and it seemed like quite a short period of time. But then, with regards to coming to America, I think that we didn't really think that it was ever going to happen. It's very notoriously difficult for British bands. That if you read the British music press, it's always breaking America was considered an impossible task. And so in fact, I don't think our first album was going to be released in America. Fortunately, Dave Holmes, who is now our manager, stuck his neck out and said, we want to take this record, and they released it through a different company. And it was amazing from then on in, and we were lucky, as you said, to go straight into playing things like the KROQ acoustic Christmas, and we were just so lucky to get over here.
Yeah. Our whole life is based upon the kindness of strangers, essentially.
And you're kind back, and I think as big as you guys are, everybody can take a lesson on how you conduct yourselves as a band, how you treat your fans, the on-stage presence, all you give to your shows. I think it's been incredible from day one, and I've been so freaking lucky to see it.
Yeah, well, we know each other really well, so sometimes I come across as kind, but Will could tell you a different story.
Please tell
Even
us that
2
story,
days
Will.
ago, I had a, you know, so we're human.
Yeah.
But we really love our audience, and we don't have any problem showing that. Because it's everything about the reason why we're in the band is about just understanding that we're on the planet at the same time as all these other people and trying to meet as many of them as possible.
It's coming up on 25 years now. You guys have been a band together, all original members. You've stayed together. Is there a secret to it? Because there's other amazing bands. They've come out. They've released an album or two. They can't seem to make it work.
And they've done well, too.
And they've done well. They have fans. I mean, what do you think it is
There's
with you
3
guys?
secrets. One is that you need to share the money and share the credit and communicate and understand that everything is given. You know, if you find that you can write songs, that's a gift. If you find that you meet the best other people to make that, you know, everything is so beyond your control that you can't help but just be extraordinarily grateful. But I'd say the ultimate thing is that we are equals in every measurable sense.
Another great lesson to take for up-and-coming bands or ones that are already established.
Yeah.
I've heard LeBron James say recently one of his goals now, and he's done it all, like one of the best of all time, is maybe his son can play in the NBA at the same time.
Wow.
I love looking at liner notes for Coldplay songs, and I see Orphans, and I see a couple Martins on there.
Yeah.
What is that like for you as a dad and a performer to have a couple of Martins, your kids, be part of the process there?
Well, we've always kind of forced our children to work. we really appreciate the Victorian times of, you know, young British children getting an honest day's pay.
But they're getting older and they know what the heck's going on.
No, they
here.
do, and you know, whenever we're on tour, any of the kids that are around, we'll drag them on stage for something or other. And it just so happened that when I was doing the demo of that song Orphans, I just asked my children and a couple of their friends, and then ultimately loads more people, if they would sing the chorus, and they're so sweet about it. And of course, we do pay them properly, and it's a strange one. I really, of course, I'm biased, but I really like listening to them. So to me, they just made the song sound great.
I know that Orphans started out, at least I heard, as a sound that you had in your voice memo on your phone, and you didn't know necessarily what it would become.
Yeah.
Do you have hundreds, thousands? How many voice memos do you have in your phone right now that could be future songs, albums? Did you record anything today on the way here?
I'll tell you the truth. I
think you should.
Okay. I don't know where music comes from. I just know that sometimes I feel like a surfer or something, waiting for waves. Anytime I try and construct a song myself, it tends to be not very good. It's the ones that you really feel are dropping from. This sounds so pretentious, but it's actually true. And so in my phone, I have about 8,700 voice memos, but only about 10 of them will be accepted by this gentleman.
When you bring them in to Will, and Will, I'll go to you one sec, I'll go to you first. Are you ever, I know these are your guys, you've grown up to, are you ever afraid to share the idea? Oh, you are?
Every time. That's not 8,000 songs. Like, often there'll be a song and there'll be 300 voice memos. Like, remember this bit, do this, do that. Like, it's unbelievably nerdy, but I love it with my whole passion.
I'm a great pickpocketer, so if you've got the phone on you, be careful.
But I think if you heard them, they just sound, all of them would sound awful. But I get nervous, every single time.
Will, was the process making this new record more arduous than before? Was it easy for you, personally?
Personally, I think after 20 years, we've finally struck on a way of recording really efficiently and really enjoyably. I think in the past we used to spend a lot of time together, but not necessarily being that productive. It was Brian Eno who said, "You guys work far too long, but not hard enough." You know, we ended up just, you know, messing around for a lot of the time and not really focusing. And so now we tend to work in short periods of time, but extremely intensively. So we book in 2-week periods where we're all together and we live together and we eat together and we, you know, we just sort of, it's like training camp, and everyone is in it, and we can record all, you know, at any time of the day. And then we have a bit of distance. We have a time to reflect and listen and you know, share, and a bit of space. And then we come back and do another one, and then it kind of gets closer and closer, ever decreasing circles towards the middle.
It's become more like how movies work, I guess, in terms of shooting days and preparation days.
Wow.
And I think for the characters in the band, that it actually has become more exciting.
Yeah.
It's a bit like when you first get told you can have 2 days in the studio. That's such a gift. And now when we book those 10 days, it's like, oh, you look forward to it, and
Yeah.
it's more precious.
Well, everyone at KROQ appreciates you guys so much, and thanks you for the relationship over the years, and to see what you guys have done, and again, the way you conduct yourselves as a band and the art you create. We love you and we appreciate you, and thanks for being the first band to open up this HD radio sound space.
Thank you. How long have you two been doing a show together?
Well, I've been 20 years on KROQ, and we have been how long together?
It feels like 20 years.
Yes, it does.
And what's
you
your
know.
secret?
What's our secret? Jeez. Striker?
I tell him what to do, and he just does it.
Yeah, yeah.
No, that's not true.
It's, if I say anything else, Stryker will hit me after this interview. So, no, the fact of the matter is, it's like what you guys say. It's we're very honest with each other.
Yeah.
And like I made fun of Stryker's shirt earlier today. He made fun of my haircut, and that's seemed to be how we got along.
Okay.
And I trust him a lot. I really
great.
do. I think he always has my back, and I have his back when we're creating stuff together.
Yeah,
Great.
that's, I think, unbelievably key.
Yeah.
We gave each other our bank routing numbers, so we pretty much own each other. You know, his has a lot more in it than mine, but that's going to change in about 12 minutes when I get to Western Union.
All right. Let's wrap it right. Unless you have any more questions for us,
Yeah,
but this
go
is
ahead.
about you. This is all about
We're not
you.
doing a lot of press, so we'll talk to you
these
guys.
beards just to be kind to Will and Johnny today, or do you always have certain facial features?
The truth
Stubbly
is,
features.
my wife likes me with facial hair, and because she does, I keep it.
Okay,
Very
well,
sensible.
that's the best reason to do
And
it.
his wife likes me with facial hair, so that's why I grew it as well.
Very good.
Very good. All right, guys, thank you again for Will and Chris and
Thank
all
you,
of
guys.
Coldplay.
All
right.
We
Thank you
are
so much.
Stryker and
Thank you.
Klein.
Thank
Say
you.
goodbye.
All right.
Will,
Thanks, Stryker.
thank you.
Pleasure.
Thanks, everybody, for
Oh, thanks,
watching.
Klein. Lovely.
We
Are
are
you staying
KROQ,
for the
Stryker and
show?
Klein. Coldplay, of course we're staying for the show.